The console games race is tough, but there are a lot of greats coming in for the PC too. Here are our picks for the top 15 AAA PC games for 2020. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. If there's one thing Bandai Namco is known for, it's their anime entertainment. And their biggest treat for us next year is their retelling of one of the most popular arcs in Dragon Ball history. Now being one of the most popular arcs, this isn't going to be the first time we're experiencing this story.
Kakarot, please defeat Frieza. No! Let him go, Frieza! Goku!
Bandai Namco though assures all of us that it'll still be a fresh experience thanks to an array of improvements on gameplay and visuals. Bandai Namco's recent announcements have revealed that beloved characters like Cell, Gohan, and so much more will be joining in on the adventure. It's coming out this January 17th. Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisps. Microsoft made one of their best moves ever when they acquired this Metroidvania platformer from developer Moon Studios. Since then, Ori has been the gift that keeps on giving, especially this time with a fresh new sequel coming out. In Will-o'-the-Wisps, we get to see Ori venturing out from their original magical forest to forge adventures in the world beyond. It's been a long journey for the title, and from what we've seen from all of their E3 presentations, it still feels like the same majestic, challenging, and tear-jerking platformer. But of course, with more nimble movements and a host of new enemies to take down. We'll finally get to see it live this February 11th, 2020.
And this is Ellen, old codger and veritable mad.
Watch Dogs Legion. Ubisoft has a lot on their plate, but they're planning to serve us another side of Revolution in this latest installment to their Watch Dogs series. With Legion, they're definitely pulling out all the stops as they expand on the idea of open world by eliminating all the NPCs. That's because Watch Dogs Legion lets players take on absolutely anyone who chooses to take part in the rising revolution.
And there's my way in. Hello, darling.
It's rife with technological innovations, and it promises variety in terms of experience and gameplay. Ambitious is one way to describe it, and we're hoping to see it on March 6th. Doom Eternal. We were all a little bit disappointed when id Software moved their brand new Doom title from its November release date. Still, it's always a good move for games to be given more time in the oven. That's especially true given the scale of Doom Eternal. Spreading out the realms of hell, the iconic Demon Slayer is broadening his horizons. Not only is he bringing the fight to the equally garish monsters of the Pearly Gates, he's also going for a lot of new mobility at his disposal. And add to their beloved single-player campaign, Eternal will also have multiplayer invasions, where players get to play the demons themselves.
The Pain Elemental. His ability to fly gives him a bird's-eye view, making it easier to track the Slayer and attack from the air. But that makes him more vulnerable when he's not using his rechargeable soul shield.
That's a whole lot of new features, and we can't wait to finally try it out this March 20th, 2020. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It's been more than a few decades since Vampire: The Masquerade landed on the PC way back in 2004. 15 years later, the cult classic is getting a new lease on life, and we're gonna experience the nocturnal adventures once again. Still in the 21st century, continue your vampiric adventures in the 21st century and settle into underworld gloom of nighttime Seattle. Choices still play a massive part of gameplay, and it comes out through your characters' backgrounds as well as the decisions you make in the various dialogues and interactions. All those are important when there are factions vying for your loyalty, including the fan-favorite Malkavians. It's set to release on March 2020. Mount & Blade 2: Bannerlord. Now this isn't an official release yet, but it's the most we're gonna see from this title in over 10 years, and we're definitely not missing out on it. It was only last August when Tale Worlds Entertainment announced this early access release. Sure, it's no official release date, but with this early access announcement as a promise that we'll get to see the fruit of what seems to be a decade-long labor. There's been plenty of medieval playgrounds available throughout the years, and it's only kept us wondering what Mount & Blade 2 will have in store for us. It probably won't be perfect at the outset. However, from what we saw in their campaign reviews, siege defenses, and faction overviews, the March 2020 early access is gonna be one hell of a treat.
Beyond the black wall.
Cyberpunk 2077. Perhaps one of the biggest titles to look forward to next year is the newest IP from The Witcher developers CD Projekt Red. If their success with their fantasy action RPG is any indication, Cyberpunk 2077 might just be their most ambitious game yet. Then again, why rely on speculation when we have a 48-minute gameplay walkthrough to drool over? Create everything about your character from their appearance, stats, background stories, and modifications, and then roam around Night City where big corporation is law.
Proceed. What's going on?
Dystopia might not be so screenshot friendly. Cyberpunk 2077 is still expected to set a new bar for the open world with seamless exploration and vibrant populations. It's set to release on April 16th, 2020.
The kid isn't human. We did this, and she needs your help.
Marvel's Avengers. Marvel is a force in the box offices, and now they're setting their sights on video games once more. What might be a little sad is the fact that the video game counterparts of our favorite characters don't match the faces we got used to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that doesn't make Marvel's Avengers any less of a big deal. While it's not connected to the MCU, it is developed by the same studio that brought to us the rebooted Tomb Raider series.
Avengers, the convoy is carrying classified shield prototypes. Fury is tracking down the full manifest.
How's the cat? Tell Fury I really love being
Crystal Dynamics is promising to redefine the superhero genre. Other than teaming up with the other icons and mastering their individual abilities, we'll also get to witness an original story in their protagonist, Kamala Khan. It is set to release on May 15th, 2020. Dying Light 2. A series built on combat, graphics, and co-op multiplayer and day and night cycle, Dying Light 2 stands firm on all of those aspects in this second installment. What makes the sequel exciting is the added focus on player choices. Building on a brand new engine, the city in Dying Light 2 isn't just 4 times bigger, no, it will also react to whatever decisions you make along the way. With so many of them planted into a more focused narrative, they open up a host of possibilities that will make each playthrough feel special. And with the added mobility of the new protagonist, Aiden Caldwell, it also means more ways of dealing with the zombies of the night. It's set to release this spring 2020. Minecraft Dungeons. Minecraft, like its many universes, is an ever-growing franchise, and it looks like they're expanding into the RPG realm now too, taking notes from classics like the Diablo series. While it's still largely voxel-based, Minecraft Dungeons veers away from their usual first-person style adventures. It dons the familiar isometric perspective, immersing players fully into the dungeon crawling that we loved and still love today. Minecraft Dungeons will have a multiplayer mode which lets up to 4 players team up in local and online co-op. It may not be Diablo 4, but from the looks of a trailer alone, it already seems like a promising love child from the 2 massively popular franchises. It's set to release sometime spring 2020.
Head to the extraction point!
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. Ubisoft's Tom Clancy series is taking on something kind of new. Set several years into the future of the Rainbow Six series, Quarantine explores the team's fight against a mutating alien parasite. From their teaser trailers, we know it's going to have a lot of adrenaline-pumping scares in their isolating halls. While the classic Tom Clancy FPS features will make their turn, Rainbow Six Quarantine is said to show off a brand new 3-player co-op, letting you get into gunplay and tactics with 2 other friends. We haven't seen much of that though, since it's all been teaser so far. Even if you're not a Rainbow Six player, Ubisoft Montreal assures you that Quarantine will be a good place to start for the series. It's set to release early next year. Halo Infinite. The return of Master Chief is exciting for all the fans of Microsoft's Halo series. While it was first announced in E3 2018, we finally got a lengthier dose of the title in E3 2019 with their 5-minute cinematic. As for gameplay is concerned, on the other hand, we do not have much to go on yet. What we do know is that Halo Infinite will definitely put Master Chief center stage for a story that's as yet unknown to us. We won't be getting a Battle Royale mode unlike all the other games, and that's also for sure. And though there are talks of a local 4-player split-screen multiplayer, there aren't any confirmation on whether it'll apply on the PC. We'll have to stand by for more news until it's released right in time for the holidays next year. Humankind. If there's one thing that's big on the PC, it's 4X strategies. And this time, Sega takes a shot at it with a game that isn't subtle about their Civilization inspirations. Developed by the same minds as the impressive 4X fantasy strategy Endless Legend, Amplitude Studios is taking on human history. Titled Humankind, it is definitely more than just a Civ clone, as it brings to the fore all of the things that Endless Legend, a modern classic, while showing off an array of innovative new features. Instead of just sticking to one civilization, Humankind will allow us to go through 6 different eras from our own history. Calling it their magnum opus, there's a lot of hype for Amplitude Studios' next game, and it's coming out sometime in 2020. Tales of Arise. Bandai Namco's latest Tales game veers away from the shared universe of the previous titles. For the first time in a long time, Arise takes you to a whole new world torn apart by ideologies. Still embracing that fantasy charm, play as 2 characters from the same goal of uniting their divided world once and for all. Aside from an original world, Arise also features a fresh cast of characters that are as memorable as any other Tales games out there. In addition to that, its improvement of the linear motion battle system makes combat even more satisfying. It's set to release sometime in 2020.
Sing of the rage of Peleus' son, Achilles.
Total War Saga Troy. Where Humankind takes up the human history mantle, the veterans of the strategy genre are taking a turn for the mythical. With Total War Saga, the series explores the events of the Trojan War through the arguably blind eyes of the great poet Homer. That means we'll get to see Ajax, Paris, and the legendary face-off of Achilles and Hector. All of it in the long-running fight for the treasures of Troy and the return of Menelaus' beautiful wife, Helen. We've already seen some of the features of their map in their campaign reveal, but we're waiting to see a whole lot more. Announced very recently this year, we'll have to expect it sometime in 2020.